Hey, thanks so much for clicking on this video today. My goal is to bring value to every person that watches the videos that I'm creating here. I'm not here to try to grow a massive following or grow and make a bunch of money on YouTube. My goal is truly to add value to each and every person to help you achieve your goals as you are moving through and navigating through the job search, which can be very daunting. It can be very scary. But when you have the right skill set and the right knowledge, it makes it so much easier and you can be in the right mindset and go into these interviews with confidence. But hey, if you don't know me, I'm Robert, founder of Freedom University, where I work with and help people to navigate through this job search from finding and landing finding the right role to interview strategy, salary negotiation, all the way through into transitioning into that new role. So love to be able to work with you and help you as well. There'll be links down below. So I post a couple videos per week to make sure that I am adding value to you. And whether I ever get to work with you or not, I wish you the very best. I'm rooting for you, and I know that you can do this. But let's get into this and dive a little bit deeper as to why you are not getting the offer. You probably clicked on this because two reasons. One, you have some interviews coming up and you're being proactive, which is great. And you're wanting to find out, okay, what are other people struggling in and that are not getting the offer? I want to make sure that I'm proactive. Or maybe you've been on the last few interviews. You've interviewed with multiple companies, and for whatever reason, you're not landing that role. Now, I've worked with thousands of people, and not all of them went through and were perfect in the beginning. These are things that you have to learn and have to go through. But my goal here today is to show you the three things that people that I have found really struggle in, and that if you can overcome those, it will help you to be able to land that next role much faster as you go through the job search. So let's go through the first one. So the first one is you are not learning, in a sense, what they truly need and are looking for early in the interview. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of people want to go into interviews and they just want to go right in and start telling them how great they are, all the things that they've done, why they should hire them. And the other person, the interviewer on the other side, is going, wow, this person doesn't even really know what we're looking for. They're not sure why we're hiring for this role. They don't understand the challenges that we're facing right now. And it's kind of puts them off, and it automatically starts to push you away as a vital candidate or a strong candidate for that position and that role. So the way to overcome that is by asking two very basic questions early on in the conversation. So what I like to do is before the conversation or the interview, I like to call interviews conversations. It's less stressful, when you're saying I have an interview compared to, hey, I'm just having a business conversation with someone about an opportunity for me to join their organization. It's a different mindset kind of trick that you can use to not put so much pressure and stress on you. So, side note, when you are going into this conversation, you want to start off with introducing yourself, have a little icebreaker, do a little research on that individual so that you have something to kind of talk about. Hopefully you find something in common, something that you can kind of break the ice with. But then you can always go in and say, hey, real quick, John or Susan, before we get started, I have two quick questions that I think will really add value to our conversation today. Would it be okay if I ask those questions real quick? So just simply by asking for permission, in a sense, because we always want to make sure that they feel like they are in control. We never want to take control of the interview from them. So instead of just going in and saying, hey, I've got two questions for you, number one, number two, answer these for me. Just go, hey, would it be okay if I ask two quick questions before we get started? So in a sense, the interview, the conversation hasn't really even started yet. You just have a couple quick questions that you can get answers for that will absolutely help you as you go through the rest of the interview. Now, I'm sure you've gone through and you've looked at the job description and you understand all of that. But what is it with this person that you're meeting with? What is truly important to them? What are they really looking for? What do they see as some of the biggest challenges that the company is facing, which is why they are probably hiring and needs a certain person with a certain skill set and a certain attitude and the right culture fit to be able to join their organization? So this is what I want to find out. And I'm not going to find out everything by asking these two questions, but I'm going to find out a lot specifically from this individual. Because one, they're not prepared to and they were not expecting to get these questions asked. So when you get the answers, they're going to be honest answers, not prepared ahead of time answers. These are going to be answers that they are giving you based on how they really feel as to why they're hiring for someone in this role. So what are the two questions? So the two questions, once they have kind of given you permission to ask them, are very simple. Of, hey, I'd love to understand a little bit more. I've read through the job description and I have a clear understanding of what you're looking for based on that, but I really value your opinion. And I'd love to understand, what is it that you're really looking for? And secondly, what are some of the biggest challenges that you guys are facing that if I were to take on this role, that you would want me to work with a team to help find solutions to? The answers to those two questions will really set you up for success, because when you know what type of person and skill set and background that they're really looking for, and you know what challenges they're facing, now you can spend the rest of the interview ensuring that they know how you have those same skills that they're looking for and why you would be a great fit for this role. And that you have helped other companies solve challenges and get great results that are very similar to the challenges that they have, which shows them that you already have experience helping other companies work through challenges and get great results, and you would probably be able to do that for them. These two areas really help to set you up as a viable candidate. Okay, so make sure, first and foremost, that you seek to understand first before trying to be understood. You have to understand where they are, why they're hiring, what they're looking for, what they're trying to solve, what is the situation, what is the challenge. And then once you know that, you can use that in your pitch, you can use that in answering their interview questions, you can use that when closing out the interview to ensure that they know before the end of this conversation that you are a great fit because you have the skill sets, you've already helped other companies solve challenges, and you can absolutely help them solve challenges. So the next thing that I think people really struggle with is not aligning your background and skills to what they are looking for. Similar to what we just talked about. The first one is about asking the right questions to get that information. And the second one is, I've worked with a lot of people where they said, hey, I asked those two questions and I got the information, but I kind of failed to ever bring up or address what it was that they were looking for, or what it was that their challenges were and how I could help solve them. They just kind of moved on. They asked the questions, they gathered the information, they wrote it down, and then they never really went back to it again. They never truly aligned what they have done in their past, what their skill sets are, and how it truly aligns with what this company is looking for and the challenges that they want to solve. So it is crucial that when you are asking those first two questions and you get that answer to those, that you're writing it down, and then you are adding that in a little bit to your pitch. So you could say something like, hey, I've got this skill set and this skill set and this skill set that I've learned throughout my career, and I know that those are things that you are looking for someone in this role, and I really truly believe that I would be able to add value because of the skill sets that I bring. Okay, so this is just an idea, but that's how you would add that in the interview to making sure that what they told you they're looking for, you are aligning that. Remember, your goal when you get into this conversation is it's not really about you. Really, this conversation in an interview is about them. It is about what they need, what they are looking for, what challenges they're wanting to solve, what accomplishments or goals they have that they are wanting to complete, and they're looking for someone to add to the team with a certain background and skill set to help them achieve that. So your focus, while you do prepare your pitch and the things that you've done and trying to align what you've done to how you can help them, you first off have to know what it is that they're looking for, which is part one. Part two is I need to get really good at aligning what I have done, my past experiences, past stories, past things that I have made where I've made a positive impact. How does that align with what I know their problems are, with what their challenges are, with what they're trying to achieve? When you can do that, and you do that again throughout the interview, you're always aligning what you have done to what they are looking for. And that is what is crucial, where a lot of people are not doing that. They're just simply answering an interview question with what they think is the right answer or what they think this person's looking for. But they fail that last little part of trying to really align and kind of bring it home, as I would say, as to, yes, I have experience in this. Let me give you a specific example of what I've done, how I solved this problem, how I got great results, what I learned from it. And this is where my skill set can really help in this particular role to help you solve this challenge. When you do that, you are communicating to them very clearly that you are the right person for this role, that you're confident in your ability, you've already done it, and you can absolutely do it for them. All right, let's talk about the last point. You are not overcoming concerns or objections enough that they feel good about continuing to move you forward. In most jobs, you are not going to match 100% of what they are looking for, which means there's going to be a skill set that you don't have that they wish you did, or a certification that you don't have that they really would like you to have had, or education or experience. There's always something. Most of the time you'll meet 80 to 90%, which is why they called you in for an interview. They're looking at your resume, they're looking at your background, however you got into there, and they're saying, I really think that this person can do this job and do this role. I think that they have the skill set. Let's bring them in and let's talk to them. Let's meet them. Let's see, their confidence level. Let's see what type of leader they would be. Let's see how they could help us solve these problems that we have. And do they ultimately have the skill sets and education and background and experience that we're looking for? That is what they are doing. And so knowing that, I need to be proactive and ahead of time as you're looking through the job description. If you have an opportunity to network with somebody that is involved in that role or the hiring process, any information you can learn maybe from an external or internal recruiter, gather all that information. Is there anything that's outstanding that is standing out to you that says, man, they're looking for somebody with this experience and I don't really have that? They're looking for somebody with this certification for this role, and I don't have that. It doesn't mean that they're not going to hire you, but it does mean that's an objection that you need to handle. That could come up. Doesn't even mean that it will. Because I promise you, if you do a good enough job of connecting with them in the beginning, asking really great questions, showing them the value that you can bring to their organization, you align what you have done in the past to what you can do for them and how you can help solve their challenges and how you would be a great addition to their culture, that will already is the first step of minimizing concerns and objections. Because if I'm interviewing you and I really like you and you just bring an energy and I love your confidence, the concern that I may have had coming into the interview when I was looking at your background and what we thought we needed has been completely minimized, because I just think you're dynamic, you are perfect for this role, and I'm probably going to move you forward, and it's really no longer a concern. So there's a lot of things that you can do to minimize concern, and it starts from right in the beginning of connecting, bringing energy, smiling, showing them the leader that you can be to their organization. But secondly is you need to get down to the root concern, because a lot of times they may say, well, we're really looking for somebody with certification. Okay, hey, I totally understand, and I know I don't have that certification, but what do you think is the difference between somebody that has that certification and someone like myself who has over 20 years or 10 years or 5 years of experience in working in this type of environment and this industry? And I know I've already been able to share a lot of the things that I've been able to do to help other companies and what I could do here. Can you maybe share with me some of the differences there? See, by asking that simple clarifying question, it's kind of saying, hey, I've got the skill sets. I know that I can do this role. I'm very confident. I've done it for other companies, and I've done really great for years. I understand that you are wanting somebody with a certification, but what's the real difference? What's the difference between this person that has a certification and someone like myself that has real world experience? Certifications are great. I'm not against getting certifications. But a lot of times it's just simply something that somebody put in the job description. And depending on who you're talking to, they're just kind of like, hey, we really look for somebody with certification. Yeah, I get it. But why? What is this? What is the difference of somebody that has a certification? Is it something that I simply cannot do this role without this certification? Or is it just kind of a nice to have? Because let me then share with you how this certification is not something that's going to hold me back from being successful. And if certification is important to you, then man, it is important to me. And what I will do is as soon as you bring me onto the team, I will start on that certification right away and be able to get that certification. So then not only will you have someone with my background and experience and a great leader in addition to your team, but then you'll also have somebody with the certification that you're looking for. How does that sound? So do you see, you're walking them through. You're not just getting defensive and going, what do you mean? You're looking for somebody with a certification. I've already told you all the things that I can do. That's not how we win that over. We go, hey, I totally understand. I know where you're coming from and I know how important that is. And man, if it's important to you, it's important to me. This is how we can overcome this together. So you've got to get good at really understanding by asking clarifying questions why they feel like this certain thing that they're looking for is so important. And now that you know the why, now you can come back and address it. And you can, first off, hey, I totally understand where you're coming from. Okay, that brings unity. That lets them know, hey, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not fighting against this. I can see where that would be important. But, can you kind of tell me what the difference is between someone that has it compared to me? And so that difference is really the root concern. Because what they're saying is that, well, someone with this certification would be able to do A, B, or C. And when you know what A, B, or C are, and you have experience in those areas, then you can share with them how you've helped other companies, other situations to get through that successfully, and how the certification is important. The experience, whatever it is that their concern is important, but this is how you would overcome it. And that in the long run, they're going to get a great employee, a great addition to the team, to their culture, another great leader, and you will do everything that you need to learn whatever skill set or get a certification or training or education that you need to be able to do this role successfully. And so those are the things that I want to talk about. Those are 3 areas. There's many others, like little things, but I will cover those in other videos. Again, I hope that this brought value to you. I hope that there's at least 1 or 2 things that you can take from this video today that you can apply into your job search and into your interview strategy. But if you are looking for more help, I do work with a few individuals one-on-one. So that is something, we'll put a link down below. If you are interested, you can go on and apply to work with me one-on-one. Would love to be able to work with you and coach you through your job search and help you land your next role. I also have specific interview courses. I've got one where we use the power of AI, and another one called Interview Mastery that will absolutely walk you through from point A all the way to Z so that you can master the interview. And this is something that you can literally go through in a weekend. So if you need to get that interview training quickly, I will show you a plan. I developed a whole plan on how you can get through that whole course in 2 days if you want to be able to go through much faster and be prepared and ready for your next interviews. It has been a pleasure to be able to add value to you, and I wish you the very best in your job search, and I hope you land your next role. We'll see you in the next video.